In today's video, guys, we have some fantastic updates from several aircraft developers covering the hotly anticipated A350 from iniBuilds, the Boeing 757 from Bluebird Simulations, as well as tons of previews, screenshots, and so on to check out. But before jumping into the show, some housekeeping items to get out of the way. If you're ardent fans of this channel and aviation in general, I'm sure you'll love the other two channels we've just launched alongside this one, FlyBy Expeditions and FlyBy Investigations. More details are in the description section of this video as to what's going to be covered on these channels, but your support on them in these early stages would mean the world to me. I'm vigorously working on some new content on FlyBy Expeditions that you can hope to see in the next couple of days, actually. Anyways, with that out of the way, a quick note from our video sponsor before getting into the meat of things. Now, long-term viewers of the channel might know that I'm not much of a bush pilot or GA aircraft flyer. I love flying large airliners, but there's always that lingering feeling about how my flight is doing, whether it's all peaceful or if I'm in an uncontrolled nosedive about to kill all of my passengers. Well, with today's sponsor, Awesome Remote, you don't have to worry anymore. Awesome is a free-to-download application software from macOS, Windows, and Android that allows you to remotely control your PC using your phone. As can be seen here, I can monitor my flight, control the cameras, and even move things around as needed without having to be anywhere near my monitor. So log on to the link in the description section of the video to see all of their expanded payment plans, including a pluggable device that can wake up your PC remotely. Once again, that's Awesome Remote, and you can find out more by clicking on the link in the description section of the video. Starting things off with our aircraft updates today then, it's official, ladies and gentlemen. iniBuilds have officially announced that development of their hotly anticipated A350 for Microsoft Flight Simulator has begun. Now, if you guys don't know, iniBuilds announced right before Christmas that they will be developing both an A350 as well as an A380 for Microsoft Flight Simulator in due course, with both the -900 and the -1000 variants for the A350 planned, as well as both winglet types also being modeled for the -900 variant. As of a few hours ago on their official Discord forums, development seems to have begun for the project. A group of their development team were fortunate enough to gain access to a cutting-edge A350 simulator for an extensive 6-hour session. iniBuilds says that they have used this opportunity to gather a plethora of crucial data ranging from intricate measurements within the flight deck to engine parameters and studying the aircraft's overall flying characteristics in depth. The team is also committed to giving this project their absolute all, and they're eagerly anticipating the opportunity to share more updates with us, the community, as the project progresses. Now, as much as that's all the news we got regarding this from iniBuilds, there are a couple of things we can definitely infer from this news. Number one, iniBuilds aren't just going for a low-fidelity, simple, barely flyable A350 for the sim, but an actual detailed rendition of the aircraft. Now, given their prior history with other aircraft for the sim like the A310, the A300, and so on, anyone could have told you that they like to make detailed aircraft add-ons, but that doesn't still take away from the fact that there hasn't been a single ultra-detailed A350 for any home simulator out there, like ever. I'm talking FSX, P3D, X-Plane, never. The only one that got relatively close was the Flight Factor A350, which is now also getting a V2 revamp alongside TOLIS, but that's a whole other topic for another time. Companies like Flight Factor for X-Plane have noted that the sheer lack of available data on the aircraft has made it very challenging to bring it to home simulators, so I'm truly holding out hope that iniBuilds can pull a rabbit out of the hat and really do something positive with this bird. That brings me to point number two. iniBuilds is quickly becoming a very large name in the flight simulation space. Since their early days in X-Plane, they've now expanded to having their own store space, accommodating even other developers, as well as their own scenery division wing, making popular airports like London Heathrow, New York JFK, and quite recently Abu Dhabi and Dubai for Microsoft Flight Simulator as well. So I think if anyone has the time and resources to be able to invest in a project like the A350, it's probably iniBuilds iniBuilds or someone of that same ilk, which is, again, rather positive news for us. And finally, point number 3 here is that with all of this being said, I would still not expect this aircraft in our virtual hangars before 2026 at the very earliest. It's clear from this development post that the team have just started on this project and there's a long way to go. iniBuilds' extensive manpower and resources aside, they are working on several other high priority projects as well, like the A320 V2 for Xbox and PC, and who knows what else for the upcoming Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 as well. It's important therefore that we're patient with them and don't raise expectations through the roof. But fear not, we here at FlyBy Simulations will be sure to bring you all of the updates regarding the A350, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel for that. Next up then guys, let's talk about another hotly anticipated aircraft for the sim, namely the Bluebird 757 for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Now this team behind the ultra-detailed Payware 757 recently provided a long and extensive 2024 development update covering a plethora of scope changes, new features, new improvements, and so on coming to the aircraft's development. I covered it all in this video if you guys want to check it out, but since then, the team has provided a few more updates on what the project will look like when we finally get it in our sims, as well as some new cockpit and external previews to take a look at for us as well, so let's jump into it. Now, it's been nearly 2 years since this project was originally announced, and in that time, much work has been done, but 6 months ago, it was decided by the team that they would completely redo the systems from the ground up in C++. The main benefit this brought the team was their ability to bring much more depth in the systems simulations, whilst also giving better performance. According to the team, the main systems under development right now are the avionics, the flight management system or the FMS, as well as the air conditioning and the electrical system to be precise. Starting from the avionics, every display has apparently been mapped out pixel by pixel to ensure complete accuracy. The FMS is being developed to match the real-world FMS, with every page now being simulated. The electrical system has been rebuilt from the ground up using schematic diagrams to ensure accuracy with, get this, almost 500 breakers being mapped to their respective electrical buses as well. So once again, attention to detail and fidelity is definitely there with this add-on. The air conditioning system is also being recreated with accurate simulation of the recirculation fans, packs, trim air, along with appropriate ECAS messages and more. The rest of the pneumatic system will also be worked on as well to high detail, including the pressurization system. The IRS or the inertial reference system also has the left, right, and central systems individually simulated, along with variable alignment times based on location. Now, fixed alignment times is also an option that will be supported as well for anyone who's wondering, and of course all of the other core systems, including the usual that you see, the fuel, the hydraulics, the APU, and so on, will get the same attention to detail, and the team at Bluebird promises to keep us updated as they progress. Now, as for the other areas of the aircraft, they have progressed nicely as well, as you can see from some of the background footage here, including a new iteration of the virtual cockpit with many new improvements to visual quality and accuracy. The virtual cockpit textures are currently under work and will look even better than the original visuals we saw a while ago. Now, speaking of the VC here, I know these cockpit screenshots do look a little bit shabby, but keep in mind that once again, everything is work in progress, and as we have seen from some of Bluebird's earlier cockpit previews, it's apparent that their modeling and texture team will flesh out the cockpit very well once its foundational components are all ready to go. So don't fear in that regard, it's definitely not going to look like this in the final iteration of this product launch. Finally, the flight model has also been undergoing rigorous testing, with both engine types along with the Dash 300 variant being custom tuned to ensure as accurate a flight model as possible. So that's all we have as of today for Bluebird Simulation 757. This latest development comes from Just Flight's official blog, the link to which will be in the description section of the video if you'd like to take a look for yourself. I'm personally pretty excited about this aircraft, but once again, as I mentioned in my previous video, don't expect this aircraft before the end of 2024 at the very earliest. Please don't crucify me. I know that, a lot of people just want the aircraft as soon as possible. I'm just the messenger here. It's just the reality of aircraft development in this space. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings us to the conclusion of our video today, discussing very, very crucial, very exciting, very lucrative airliners coming to the world of Microsoft Flight Simulator. Do let me know down in the comment section below what you're most excited about. I think the majority of the community is most looking forward to the A350, but I have to say that I do have a soft spot for the 757 as well, so I'm very much looking forward to see what Bluebird Simulations does with that aircraft. Of course, if you guys want to stay up to date with all of this information and more in the world of flight simulation, do make sure you give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell or notification icon to stay up to date with everything. With that all said, guys, thanks for watching and thanks for flying by.